Welcome back to the Operation Freedom YouTube channel. What we do here is shine the light of truth on the deep state. They hate that. We do it figuratively with our presentations. We do it literally with our sponsor's product, PatriotLegacy.com. PatriotLegacy.com, featured product of theirs, the Patriot Beacon. 6 overall lighting functions. In addition, solar powered, don't need batteries. You can charge your other devices like your phone from it. In addition, you got a compass, you got a window breaking hammer, and you got a seatbelt cutter. Plus, if those deep state dweebs get just a little bit too close to you, blast them with this. They're gone. Go to patrioticlegacy.com, patrioticlegacy.com. Get yourself, your kids, your grandkids, your car. Can carry it with you anytime. patrioticlegacy.com, the Patriot Beacon. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings and my weekly radio show, Operation Freedom, is to provide you information the bought-off, lamestream, fake media will never touch or never present. You can join us for the radio show every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. It's easy to listen to. It's free. Go to davejanda.com, go to the listen button in the middle of the homepage. That will then take you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service. Hit the play button, and you're there. Great analysis, great guess, and information that you're not going to get from the bought-off lamestream fake media. If you happen to miss the show, the podcasts are available, and that's on our subscription platform that I'll get to later. The title of today's presentation is History, Politics, and Ventilators. My dad, when there were times of trouble, he drilled into me over the years, quote, this is what he would always say. Look, Dave, panic is easy. A measured, rational approach is what is difficult, and it is what you must do. He passed 17 years ago, but boy, I can hear him loud and clear today and over the past couple months. And that philosophy is something that we should remember every day. You are being shoveled a plate of chaos, courtesy of the bought-off lamestream fake media that is a tentacle of the deep state. You are fed that plate of chaos 24/7. That's not by accident. That's their objective. You see, the deep state, their playbook, it's worked great for them for many, many decades. It's the more chaos, the more death, the more destruction, the more power and the more control that they get. So what do? We have to push that plate of chaos away every day. One way you can do that is turn off the lamestream media. And that includes Fox. There's been tremendous misinformation and disinformation that's been provided through the media. The president and his team do a daily press conference, which is unheard of, about what's happening. If you want to watch something, watch that. And then you'll see in the question and answer session, the deep state's media try to nitpick and tear apart what this country is all about. Perseverance, dedication, and sacrifice. They want you to give up. They want you to surrender all your freedoms and all your rights to their owners, the deep state. I'm hopeful. And the reason is because who's in leadership positions in our country? And that's the top of the, if you will, the top of the pile. And that's President Trump. You see, if we were ever going to get hit with this type of attack, I can't think of a better person with a better background to have at the helm of the ship. Imagine what this would be like if a career politician with no experience in the private sector, who's never had to make a critical decision about people being able to get paid, about making a payroll. Imagine if Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or George Bush or Bill Clinton or you name it were there. I wouldn't be hopeful. But I am with President Trump. He ran businesses. He made payrolls. He was a boots-on-the-ground type of administrator. I know that for a fact. My dad was in the construction industry in Chicago. Built some big buildings. Had some interactions with President Trump many years ago. And let me tell you what my dad told me about Donald Trump. This was, probably close to 40 years ago. He said he's really analytical. He's really smart. He's much different in person, he told me, than he is in public. By that, my dad meant that, and what he said was, he really listens. He doesn't talk much. He listens. And then he analyzes. And he surrounds himself with really good people. And my dad also said it appears he surrounds himself with people that disagree with him, that provide him alternative views and information. He goes, most people would not have any of that. But he said it appeared that he liked that. He liked to be given different opinions so he could see different sides of an issue. Well, if he was like that 40 years ago, I imagine hadn't changed. Because the information I have from people around him is that, yeah, he's cognizant of differing opinions around him. And he believes it makes him a better decision maker. He tweeted on Sunday night, quote, "We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself." He's right. As a physician who practiced medicine for 32 years, there's a delicate balance when you practice medicine about helping someone and then making the treatment so overbearing that it breaks them physically and mentally. You can't do that. So when this 15-day time period is over, the president is going to make a decision. And I imagine there will be people on one side of the table, possibly Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx, who say, Mr. President, you have to continue this for another 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. And I'm sure he'll have people on the other side of the table that says, stop it right now, the whole thing. And I believe he will treat this decision as he did when he was in the construction industry and building industry. People that are not familiar with the construction industry do not understand the logistics that are involved in the construction and completion of a project of such magnitude. Some will say that I'm being too kind. I'm being too generous. But I believe what he will do is he will weigh varying opinions. And he will find an approach to have the cure, but not kill the patient in the process. I want to touch on what I watch. And our subscribers on the platform are aware of this because I do an extensive WTF show on analysis of what's happening internally under the hood with this virus situation. But I want to give you an indication of what I follow, because I think there's a tremendous amount of misinformation out there, and which then parlays into fear and panic. By just watching the number of cases that are positive is fine, but it surely should not be your most significant data point. Neither should be the data point of the number of just looking at the number of deaths. The number of cases increasing are going to continue to increase because we have better testing measures. We'd like to see the deaths obviously falling off, but you have to put them in comparison to some other data. So one of the statistical analyses I look at is something called the case fatality rate, which are the number of deaths divided by the number of positive tests that have been found to be the case. So let me take you back to March 17th. On March 17th, a week ago, a little over a week ago, the case fatality rate in the United States, number of deaths divided by the number of cases that were tested as positive, was 1.7% in the United States. As of Tuesday, the release of this video, it is now at 1.3%. Smaller number is better than larger number. A week ago, there were individuals on the internet saying that we were becoming Italy. Well, the case fatality rate in Italy at that point was 7.3%. So we're not going up. We have been coming down. And a big part of that is because we're testing better. A study out within the past 24 hours says that well over 80% of folks in the United States that have this virus are minimally symptomatic. Unfortunately, the connotation that's been delivered by the bought-off lamestream fake media is if you have it, you're going to die. You're going to die. Well, that's not what the numbers tell us. But if you just keep watching that map and the big red blob getting bigger, you're going to think you're going to die. Don't buy into it. That's part of the panic. A measured, rational approach is based on data. Case fatality rate. Follow it. Number of deaths divided the number of positive test results. Another interesting statistic I follow is the number of people who show up to be tested who say, I have coronavirus. I have a fever. I have a cough. I have shortness of breath. I got it. Okay. And then they're tested. Depending on which study you look at, between 90 and 95% of those people who show up convinced they have the virus, they test negative. Have you heard that from the bought-off lamestream fake media? No. And I'm in touch with a number of large medical institutions around the country. In fact, one very prominent medical facility in a different state, kind of the gold standard of data analysis. Their chief executive officer put out data that approximately 3% of folks that are coming through their drive-through testing sites are positive. 3%, not 13, not 30, not 100, 3. We also have to look at what's called the cases per capita. That's based on population studies. So if we look at the number of cases of coronavirus on a per capita basis, in other words, per 1 million people, we really shouldn't be panicking. And this was pointed out in a recent article by Aaron Jin at Medium.com. That's what he says. Every country has a different population size, which skews aggregate and cumulative case comparisons. By controlling for population, you can properly weigh the number of cases in the context of the local population size. Comparing the United States' total number of cases in absolute terms with other countries and their total number of cases is fairly silly because of populations. So when they do an analysis of the number of cases based on a per 1 million population, the United States comes in at 59 cases per 1 million people in our country. 59. Italy, which we know is hit very hard, comes in at 778 people, over 10 times the value per 1 million people. In South Korea, where it's said that, well, they're handling this better than the United States, 172, almost 3 times the value of the United States, 172 cases per 1 million population. Iran, 234 cases per 1 million population. So there are people out there that are saying, well, we're doing an okay job, but it's not as good as Korea because, well, look at the number of cases we have in our country and the number of people in Korea. That's data, but it's skewed. You have to look at it on a per capita basis. This is one of the numbers I follow. One of the other numbers I like to look at is the number of negative test results. Remember we talked about that, right? Folks that are convinced that they have the disease that come in, and I mentioned that it's, depending on who you look at, it's between 90 and 95% of people that come in thinking they have the virus. They don't. The coronavirus. They have influenza, they have other infectious disease issues, but they don't have coronavirus. So I wish I could tell you what the negative test results are in the state of Michigan today, but I can't. I can tell you how many cases they've reported as being positive, but I can't tell you how many people actually tested negative. Why? Can't I read a data chart? Yeah, I can. It's because 3 days ago, the state of Michigan stopped reporting the negative cases. Why? Here's what they say. Well, we don't want to give people a false sense of security. I kid you not. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is treating every citizen of the state of Michigan like we're 4-year-olds. And by the way, the draconian plans that she has instituted and will continue to institute, well, they would fly in the face of negative test results, right? You see, right now, we've gotten into a situation with the politicians in this country that the more draconian steps they take, the more it shows they care. We're going to get into that, Cuomo in a little bit. Recommendations for shutting down society, for stripping people of their freedoms and liberties, which is why I call this the freedom stripping virus, because it stopped the freedom movement that you were seeing in Hong Kong moving into mainland China when this reared its head in Wuhan, China, and it's surely stripping our freedoms. It is a freedom stripping virus. And recommendations about shutting down society should be based on hard data. And when the government stops presenting information, hiding information as Governor Whitmer's doing here in Michigan, that's a problem. That decision about saying you're not going to know what the negative results are is about political cover, not about public health. And when you start putting political cover ahead of public health, well, God help you. God help you.